Netflix's latest sci-fi thriller looks great on paper. It looks great on screen in regard to its cinematography and technological visual effects. Unfortunately, all that glimmers is not gold. Tao opens with a brief montage of Julia, played by Malika Monroe, pickpocketing her way through a dishonest night's work, and it's just enough to let us know that she's a tough street girl, which comes in handy once she's abducted to a beautiful mansion owned by tech genius Alex, who's played by Ed Skrein. Or Scrine. How do you say that? I should have looked that up before. Julia quickly learns she's not alone in the House of Horrors, and I say that super loosely. Perhaps House of Idiots is a better word, because she seems to be the only level-headed and smart person in the house. And that includes the Hal-like Tao, who's played by Gary Oldman, just coming off of an Oscar and making the cliched mistake of doing a film like this. It just... Tao is the computer program that runs the house while Alex is away. The film starts out with promise. Much of the first 15 minutes or so has little dialogue, which means you actually have to pay attention to the story. Like most hostage films, as time moves on, Julia has to figure out how to escape. But unfortunately, once we're introduced to the giant robot that serves as like a furniture piece and deadly security, things get silly. There's an internal clock that Tao continues to count down each day and telling Alex how much time he has until a major deal he has to be ready for, which doesn't really have any weight to it in itself. But let's keep moving forward, because when Alex goes out to work, Tao forces Julia to complete tasks under the threat of bodily harm. Only we don't ever really see why she needs to fulfill them. Without summarizing the film, let's just say that the film is a bag of potato chips, full of promise on the outside, but mostly hot air and a few things of substance on the inside. The journey to Julia possibly getting her freedom is a huge miss by writer Noga Landau, rather than making Julia endure tests like 1997's Cube, in which the tests were life or death, but also mentally engaging for the protagonist and the audience watching. Julia's tests look like my 3-year-old son's, like shapes, and it just... When you make a tech sci-fi film, you expect to be engaged on a level that you may not understand, even if the dialogue is like totally made up. But all of that was exchanged for Julia's relationship with Tao, who has this childlike eagerness to learn about the world outside of the house and compromises a lot. It was certainly overly simplified, this relationship between Julia and the AI, unlike that of Ex Machina, which was just amazing in regard to, just the relationship between human and robot. Could have done so much here. Gary Oldman, voice actor, it could have done a lot here. But Tao is not the sci-fi movie to watch on Netflix. I mean, at least Bright was awesomely bad. This truly is that bag of potato chips that you were looking at through the vending machine, you pulled out your last 2 quarters for, and felt like you got gypped after you opened it. Don't buy the chips. I give it a D-. You can find more movie reviews at picturelockshow.com, where you can also listen to my podcast featuring interviews with filmmakers, producers, actors, actresses, critics, and everyone in between on an indie and major studio level. Be sure to click subscribe below before you go, and keep it locked on film.